Okay, so tonight, Friday night, October 31, 2025, Halloween, and of course Steve's birthday, I decided to pop on. I got inspired by my own self and how and why. Well, I was in the process of boiling up some hard boiled eggs. I like to do that in advance. So I have a few of them just waiting for me in the refrigerator for throughout the week whenever I want a quick bit of protein without breaking the bank. And the light bulb went off in my head. I said, Jan, why don't you make a video and talk about ways, for example, that I could make what I have on hand to actually last a little longer. And I realized something. When you boil an egg, the only cooking ingredient you need is the egg. I mean, I don't count the water. We could hopefully all get and obtain some water. So think about how much money, in a way, you're saving because let's say that you have a hard boiled egg for breakfast or whatever meal that you want. You don't need to fry it in fat. You don't need to add tons of ingredients. You could just put a little salt and pepper on the outside of it if you want. Or you could just cut it in half and perhaps make it an individual deviled egg, with two little halves of egg. So anything you want. But that additional stuff is up to you. But right now, we are in situations where to utilize and make the most of the existent foods that we have last longer, in my opinion, is not a bad idea. So I jotted down, and like I said, my hard boiled egg was the inspiration. So thank you, eggs. Okay, so what I was thinking is, where is it? Okay, all right. One cup. Did you ever think of this? 1 cup of either homemade broth. Now, if you have leftover chicken, scraps or scraps of veggies, it's my utmost hope that you throw all of it in your slow cooker and you extract from it fresh broth instead of spending a couple of bucks to buy broth outside. Or if you don't want to do either one, always good old bouillon cubes. Okay. They're not exactly the same as when you do a broth. But if you have a cup of broth, okay, suppose you're hungry. You're not like terribly hungry, but you want a little something, something. So let's say a cup of broth in midday and a piece of, let's say, whole wheat toast, if you happen to have that, or a piece of sourdough bread cut in half. Those bread slices of sourdough, I know, are really, really big. But whatever bread that you have, okay, very, very budget friendly, fills you up. And that's a wonderful, wonderful little definitely guilt-free snack, okay? I'm just saying. So maybe you want a little something more at the end of that light meal, maybe like a half a banana. And speaking of fruit, seasonal fruit, we happen to be in the fall, right? Where apples are all over the place. You could get them at a great, great price. But if you want to stretch, instead of hurrying it up and having 5 apples quickly throughout the week, slow it down. Take 1 apple and share it, let's say, with a family member. Because many times people don't eat the whole thing and a lot of it goes into waste. And this is not the time for any food waste. Not that any time is, because I am so against food waste of all costs. But take that apple and thinly slice it. This is another method of stretching the old soup, as they used to say back in the day. So take that apple and cut it up thinly. Sprinkle a little cinnamon, a little lemon juice on top if you happen to have it. And it gives it a really bright, yummy taste, in my opinion. That's the way I like it. And some people do different things with their apples, or they'll bake them up or whatever. But an apple is a great option. It could be shared. It is so filling. The key is to slow down the rate of what you have, but not deprive yourself if you're feeling hungry. Does that make sense? I hope so. This is the perfect time of the year. It's been, a little chilly in the evening, for example. And probably tomorrow I will pop in my oven and make a banana bread. How many of you out there like banana bread? If you make a banana bread with the stuff that you have, you can do it very easily. And of course, I have my trick way that I do it using a pancake mix. And I actually have a video about that using the complete type of pancake mix. I should find it and I should link it to the video either tonight or tomorrow. And you're using a pancake mix to do it. So easy. It's just basically the pancake mix and a bit of water and a capful of oil and the banana, etc., or apple. It's a swap out. You could do the apple or the banana with this. And of course, a little cinnamon. Very, very inexpensive. Most of the stuff we have on hand, most of us have this on hand. And that's another trick, keeping recipes and ingredients as simple as possible. I had made, and I talk about it in a recent video, probably the one that's coming on at 5 a.m. tomorrow. I believe that might be it, where I took some frozen hamburgers and I made a beef soup out of one or two. I believe it was one. I might have thought about two, but the frozen, done up, already cooked up hamburgers. And wait, it gets better. Tomorrow afternoon, stay tuned for this video. I actually make a potato soup. I didn't make it yet, but I give you the ingredients. I asked Mr. Computer about how to make a potato soup with a very unlikely ingredient. So stay tuned for that. That'll be coming on in the afternoon of tomorrow. So also stay tuned for the fact that there are just in general going to be much more videos this particular month of November, so you could cozy up to the videos tomorrow and drink some your favorite hot drink. I like hot chocolate. All right, let's talk about lentil soup. Now, you could go two ways. A little bag of lentil soup, okay? Literally, I was able to get for 99 cents locally. Lentil soup is so yummy. It is so easy to make. It is a joke. You do not have to soak it overnight. At least I don't. I let it sit in the water and I check it, make sure everything's goody. Then I follow the directions. So simple. But what I also do when I make lentil soup, talk about a budget stretcher. Make the lentil soup the way you like and following the the recipe, but put that over a bed of your favorite rice. Yum! That makes that meal a complete protein. Now, how inexpensive is that? It fills up a lot of hungry bellies, and I'm telling you, if you like lentils, you will enjoy that. The same goes for pea soup. Now, I don't think I've ever put pea soup over rice, because pea soup, split pea soup, again, that could be about 99 cents or $1.25. Very, very budget friendly. Now, suppose you don't have a little bit of a ham hock to go in there. What I would do is I would stick one frankfurter in the soup as it's making it, and it extracts the smoky flavor of a hot dog. I like to keep some frankfurters in the freezer and use that up like one at a time. I rarely ever eat two frankfurters at the same time. So to work them out as an ingredient for a soup, or if you make yourself some beans, your own, as we call it, pork and beans, and just insert the frankfurters in, you could do that. That is such a stretchy thing to do. So following the simple directions with the soups, and I like to use, I don't get an extra dime for saying it, I like to use the Goya brands for that. Never, ever disappointed me. Let's see. Okay, so the other tip I'm giving you late at night, so if I sound a little tired, it's because this brain and mouth goes all day. So anyway, keep leftover. This is important. I know I have mentioned this on my general videos in general throughout the year. And this is a tool that has worked for me for many, many years. Okay. So if I have leftover meat, if I have leftover chicken, if I have leftover any sort of protein and I don't want it, it's never going to go into the garbage. That evening, I clean it up, I put it into a food saver, and it goes into the freezer. Sort of like recycling something you already paid for. I could either make a soup with it, or I can make a stew with it, or I could use it in an omelet, or I could chop it into my own version of fried rice. So easy, so cheap. This is the way to go. Keep utilizing this stuff we already have. Now, when it comes to sandwiches, a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and if you like that frozen feel to it, which I know some people they like a really cold PBJ. I'm not even kidding you. You make it on your sandwich, wrap it up the way you like, put it in your freezer, and then when you want to eat it, well, you have an ice cold peanut butter and jelly sandwich, okay? On the cheap. Think of how many sandwiches you yield. You yield with that. Now, I personally prefer to purchase jam. It is about the exact same price as jelly. Well, Jen, why do you say jam? It lasts twice as long. Jam is jam packed with flavor. Therefore, I need to use less of it. You see where I'm going with this? Okay, let's talk about sweet snacks when you don't have the money, but you want something sweet. I had mentioned this on a video not long ago, and it is worth repeating. If you could just take simple, like margarine or butter, and get some cinnamon sugar or sugar cinnamon, whatever you want to call it, put it together, excuse me, please, and whip it together or just mix it up yourself with a whisk, right? Let it soften a little bit. You have that little bit of a spread. You toast up your favorite piece of bread and put the spread on it. I'm telling you, it really, really helps. You could do the same trick if you happen to have some cream cheese, okay? Don't go out and buy it, but only if you happen to have it, you could try a little bit of it. See, here's the trick to keep your groceries going and going and going. Now, to keep yourself perpetually going with the groceries, continuously find ways to make your own soups and stews from the stuff meals that you've already manufactured. For example, if I make a meatloaf, okay, well, one night I'll have the actual meatloaf as such, slice it up, put the rest away, blah, blah, blah. But the next night, well, it's going to be extra chilly that night. I don't mind making a meatloaf soup out of it because it's basically the same flavor as a meatball soup. So all I do is cut it up into little squares, and then I, continuously make my soup that way. And tomorrow afternoon, you're going to find out a really interesting way to make potato soup. So you got a bunch of videos coming out. And for those that have been viewing the videos and listening and coming back with comments, thank you very, very much. So I know it's late. I know it's Friday night. But I just want to inspire you that there are really ways, and there are ways to utilize the stuff you have. If you happen to make chicken legs, anything with the bone in, do not toss that out. That is Major League Future Nutrition, okay? Do not toss it out. Use it for future broths and soups and stews, okay? Hope everybody's okay. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you. Don't forget to come back tomorrow morning in a few hours for my usual Saturday morning or every morning show at 5 a.m. Thank you.